the ladle forged from the cube. I've put a piece of balsa wood to help balance the ladles out, but there is the cube, 4.54. This is the ladle that was forged from a cube like that, and the actual finished ladle comes in at 3.48 ounces. Hi, I'm Daniel Tokar at the Willow Forge in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. And I think the topic for today is thinking like a blacksmith. I know a lot of people who do blacksmithing as a hobby that still think like carpenters, machinists, and welders. They limit themselves by thinking in terms of sort of dimensions and cut and paste. Part of thinking like a blacksmith is realizing that what's important is mass and volume. There's an old saying that blacksmiths don't work to dimensions, they work to snug. And I thought of a couple of different ways of trying to illustrate this, and then I realized the easiest way is to show you. What I have here is a cubic inch of steel. That's a piece of 1-inch square stock that I cut off to be 1 inch long, so it's a cubic inch. Now, a cubic inch of steel is about 4.5 ounces. It takes 3.5 cubic inches of steel to be a pound. Another way of thinking of that is that if you think in terms of board feet, if you're a carpenter, a board foot of steel is 41 pounds. That would be 1 inch thick, 12 inches by 12 inches. So anyway, this is about 4.5 ounces. Now, this is a piece of 1/4 by 1 stock, and it's also a cubic inch because it's 1/4 inch thick, 1 inch wide, and 4.25 inches long, and that is exactly the same weight as that cubic inch. And this piece is 1/8 by 2 inches by 4.25 inches, and it is exactly the same weight. I could go over to the scale and actually weigh these things out for you. Okay, we've got our scale set up, and there is the cubic inch, and that's 4.56 ounces. The 1/4 by 1 is 4.56, and the 1/8, oh, went off. I have to tear it again, zero it again. It shifts a little bit. That's 4.56. So pretty much within 1/100th of an ounce, all three of those pieces of stock are the same weight. We've got 3 pieces of stock that are all the same mass, the same weight. What I'm going to do to show you how a blacksmith thinks is tell you that all 3 of these pieces are equal in terms of being able to make a particular object. You should be able to transform and make anything from the cubic inch in whatever form it is. You just have to use different techniques, but what's important is that the finished object will have a cubic inch of metal in it, the same as any one of these stock shapes, so that they're all equal. Maybe I'll start out with the inch cube. So one of these 3 pieces of stock will actually take less time to turn into the job than the the other two. Let's see which one it is. I've also put the cut filter, the infrared filter, on the camera, so that's why it looks a little dark. But that's just so you'll be able to see the hot work. If you don't have a filter, you end up having a lot of glare when you have the hot piece of metal come out of the fire. And I'd rather have you be able to see the metal, to see what I'm doing, rather than to worry about seeing me. Being a cube, it doesn't have a lot of surface area, so it's taking a while to get it up to temperature. Now, my first operation on that will be to take my fuller and fuller it right around the center of the mass. Because one part of this will be drawn out into a handle, and the other part will be making the bowl. I had a train going by the shop for a moment, so I had to wait. So anyway, I'm going to pick this out at just about halfway. Turn it, and then fuller it right there. And fuller it right there. Okay, cool enough to go back in the fire. Fuller it all the way around. It again. Oh, it's probably too cold anyway. So that's as far as I got on that heat. drop peen of the hammer to draw that part out a little bit. All right, so that's where we are so far. And then I'm going to turn it around. I'm swapping the ends back and forth because I'm trying to keep it relatively even in terms of the amount of work I do on each side. As we get more surface area to this piece, it heats up faster. So now we're like that. And I'm going to turn it around again. And I'll start shaping the other end. There it goes, nice and hot. And I'm going to knock the corners in. Put it in the vise just a little bit to line it up. And make a nice round part. You see we've get this nice lollipop shape. And again, we swap end for end and work the other side now. See, very quick heats. So you see, longer handle. Turn it around again. And I've got a train coming. You can hear the train. Hey, train is going. So I take this out. I start using the wire brush because we're getting close enough to finish to worry about that. Okay, so we're right there now, and I will again turn it around and work on the other side. As these sections get smaller, they heat up faster. They've got a lot more surface area than when it was a cube. My gauge on this is that I'm drawing this out until it's just a tiny bit longer than the anvil face is wide, and that'll be an easy measurement to remember when I'm working on the other ones. I'm going to stick this in the vise and tap it over so it's aligned a little better. Great. But that's where we are right now. So, I'll turn it around. Because this is so thin, it will heat up quickly. What I'm shooting for is about a 2.5 inch diameter hole for a little tasting spoon. Bigger. Still just a little small. As it gets thinner, it also cools off faster while you're working it. Bigger and bigger. And we turn it around again. Oh, and if you hear screaming in the background, it's not that we're torturing small children in the back room. It is that there is a playground, and now the kids are out. They're running around screaming in the sunshine. No zombies. That's even a little too hot. Very thin. getting there. That's a nice big lollipop, and I will see if I've got it relatively straight. Yep, it's even relatively straight on the stem. Okay, we should try and finish out the handle next, I guess. Before it gets too far out of whack. We're getting there. Now, I'm going to stop swapping and I'm going to focus on the handle for a little bit, because the form for the bowl is pretty much done. And again, gotta straighten it out because I managed to tilt the bowl. Yes, it's beginning to look more and more like a spoon. A little more handle here. Again, I managed to get the thing to drift off center a bit. All right, continue along. Yeah, did it again. Got it slightly off kilter. All right, so the back part's not too bad. I'm going to get the upper part, and that will go very fast. Because it's very thin. that handle. Alright, continuing along here. So you can see how it's coming along. And now I get to taper that. You can see it's now longer and skinnier. So, here's where we're at right now. Tiny bit of water, because I'm going to cool off the curl. Here's the curl. I'll cool off the curl. And again, that's what we end up with. Now, I don't know, maybe we'll... That's all right. Now, I'm going to break for lunch. The ladle forged from the cube.